Well, Halo doesn't really have a league. What do you think about that? Everything's leading up to the World Championship, which is kind of soon. How it's like a month away now,
World Champ. Let me just check right now. I have the date.
like the exact date. You have the background. Actually, you know what? Hold up. I can do it on the stream real quick. Nope, that doesn't have the date on it. I was wrong. Doesn't have the date.
World Championship is March 15th to March 20th.
All right, so it's a month away.
Yep.
So it's getting up here. It's getting real close.
I guess you could kind of consider HWC like its own league. But the thing is that we kind of considered the HES as our league last season.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have like a solid league that we could depend on. We haven't had a solid league in years already, so I don't think anybody in Halo really complains about that much.
Yeah. Well, it's just like weekend tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
that's
really
fine. But do you think people would like having like a structure where they play each team once or twice in the league?
I'm pretty sure like the pro players wouldn't mind doing something like that. They'd probably like it, but I don't know if the amateur players would love something like that, because that means they'd have to do a lot more work to actually get into like the pro level.
Because they wouldn't be part of the league.
Yeah.
With the weekend tournaments,
like
I guess because amateurs can make their way into the tournaments. But
Yeah.
the way the HCS was working this year, because remember last year they had like the Saturday tournament, which you could qualify for the Sunday tournament.
Yeah.
And then this year, though, the Halo World Championship qualifiers, was there a limit on like the number of teams that could enter, or?
For the qualifiers, I think the limit was like 500 and something.
Okay, that's pretty high.
But like that would almost always. No, I think pretty sure it was like 512, because I remember trying to sign up for one of those qualifiers and I couldn't sign up. It was already too late. Like they packed. Like it was already like 512 teams showed up, and then we just couldn't sign up. So I think the cap is 512. I'm not too sure about that though.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty large cap though.
Yeah, a lot of teams show up for the qualifiers. A lot of teams really show up for those qualifiers.
Yeah, definitely. So do you know where is the World Championship?
World Championship? I'm pretty sure it's. I have no idea actually.
Yeah, I don't know either. I feel like I haven't seen the location.
It's currently an unknown location.
Really?
It says on eSportspedia. Nobody knows yet, apparently.
That's really weird. I bet you it's going to be in probably LA or something.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be in the MLG headquarters, though. I don't think so, at least.
I mean, the MLG headquarters are where this weekend's event is.
Yeah.
But if the Halo World Championship was there, I'd be so happy.
The only problem with that is that it's because the reason why it's in MLG's headquarters this season for the North American regionals is because MLG is dealing with all the North American qualifiers. They host all of them. So that's why the North American regionals had to be in MLG headquarters. But I'm pretty sure the whole entire World Championship is going to be hosted by 343. So, I mean, if I had to take a guess, it might be somewhere in Washington, to be honest, since 343's headquarters is somewhere there in Kirkland.
Washington, the state?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably going to be the West Coast. It'll definitely come down to... I bet it'll be out there. But I'm going to be at the event this weekend, and it's going to be my first Halo event. So I'm pretty excited to be able to go out there, and even though I don't know all the players like you do, I'm going to try to get as many pictures, and I'm going to try to talk to people. So who do you think that I should talk to?
Well, I told you that it's probably the easiest team to probably talk to is Overdrive. And they're probably the best people to talk to, in my opinion, because I feel like Vito is probably one of the biggest up-and-coming players out there this season. And I just really, really like his team. So, I mean, he's probably going to be telling you all about like how he got to that level and how he got there so quickly. I'm pretty sure he didn't even grind MCC that much last season. He was pretty much just a Halo 3 person for a while. He just was a streamer. And he really started taking the game seriously this season. So to see how someone who didn't even take the game seriously last season just become pro this season is kind of crazy to me. So I think he's definitely somebody you should talk to. Of course, anybody that's like in top 3, like anybody in EG, Allegiance, CLG, even Renegades. Like if you could talk to Stellar, that'd be great, because Stellar just has like, I don't know what happened to him. He came out in the middle of nowhere to the scene. Same thing with like Frosty and Commonly.
Yeah,
like I've known Frosty ever since Halo 4, but
So you're cutting out a little bit. Your mic is cutting out a little bit.
Would never expect that he'd make it a CLG, to be honest. Like, he's good, but I don't think. Hello?
Sorry, hello? I think our connection's going off a little bit again. It's probably it's on my end, man. It's on my end. I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. But let's just try to get through the show. All right. NA regional finals in Columbus, Ohio this weekend at MLG TV Arena. I'm going to be there. There's going to be a lot of... Everybody's coming back. This is where MLG thrived in the past. You know, that's how their eSports scene started up. Everybody's excited. Puckett's coming back. Golden Boy's going to be there. Benson's kind of new to Halo. He's going to be there. I don't know. There's some other casters. And everybody big. Probably Walshy is going to be there, I think. I don't know.
Hopefully Walshy.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the breakdown of the pool. So it's going to start off in pool play. I got the thing up on the stream. You probably can't see it, Zach, but Group A, we got number 1 seeded Team Allegiance, got Dream Team, Triggers Pound, and Optic Gaming, who made it into this tournament in the last chance qualifier. They had Flame Sword and Maniac, and they picked up who are the 2 guys that Optic picked up? Sorry, I think our Skype conversation.
Right now, Optic.
Sorry, it's like very delayed.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Zach. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me though.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, basically Optic Gaming picked up. They picked up Lifestyle and they picked up Chaser. Lifestyle is actually a Halo player that dates all the way back to, I think, like mid Halo Reach season. He was a pretty big competitive player back at that time. Chaser was one of the new up-and-coming players that no one ever heard about that just made it on this team somehow.
Yeah.
Same thing with Stellar. Nobody really knows who they are, but the pros know who they are. They found out they're good, and they picked them up. That's basically who Chaser was. Yeah. So I didn't really know what to expect much of Chaser coming into the last chance qualifier. But when Optic Gaming competed in the last chance qualifier, I definitely saw Chaser, make a lot of great plays for the team, and he definitely showed a lot of potential as a player. I don't know how this team's going to do on LAN though. That I can't really say this team's going to do great on LAN, even though they did good in the last chance qualifier. Yeah. I don't know how Chaser's going to do. I still don't know how Lifestyle's going to do, because although he kind of did good back in H2A, he competed in one event in H2A. He did okay. I don't know if he could really compete at a top level in this game. Maniac, I definitely see Maniac do good things in this event. Maniac's generally just a player that does better in events than he does in qualifiers and stuff like that. He generally doesn't really perform that well online. He even says it. He really doesn't put in like 110% effort in most online cups and stuff like that.
Yep.
But he definitely puts on a show during events. So I definitely see him making a lot of clutch plays for this team.
Okay.
Flamesword.
Sorry.
Yeah?
I got one question for you. Okay, so in the last chance qualifier, they didn't play any of these other teams that are going to be at the regionals, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so they don't know how they're going to compete, except for scrims. And have you been watching them in scrims against any of these other teams?
I watched Optic Gaming go up against Envy in scrims, and I think they played against another team. I don't know if there's other teams. No, they played against Overdrive in scrims too. And when I saw them play against Envy, Optic Gaming definitely looked pretty good. I'm pretty sure they beat Envy in a series. I think they played like a 7-game series or something like that. I know that Optic Gaming won it, but they definitely looked very good slaying-wise, which is something that surprised me the most out of this Optic Gaming team, because Optic Gaming this season didn't really look like a team that was good at slaying. So to see them slay really, really well against Envy, which is a pretty solid slaying team, it was kind of surprising to me. So coming into this qualifier, looking at the pool, they're going to be playing against Dream Team, I think, in the first match of pool play. So I'm pretty sure slaying-wise that Optic Gaming could possibly take down Dream Team. I'm not too sure though yet. I really don't know, because Dream Team's actually a really, really good team. They've surprised all of us this season.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Dream Team to really do this well this season, considering the players they're on this team. Pretty much all these players, like I know Prototype and Ares didn't have the greatest season last season, so for them to really find this team and really mesh well together, it's really impressive. But I think if Optic Gaming does really, really well in the first two games of pool play, they could definitely take down Dream Team. And then after that, they have to take on either Allegiance and Triggers Pound. But I'm going to pretty much say Allegiance is going to take that. I don't think Triggers Pound is strong enough to actually take on Allegiance.
Yeah.
Allegiance is definitely one of the top three teams coming into this coming into regionals. So I think it's really just going to be Allegiance versus Optic Gaming in the Group A pool for the last game. And I don't see Optic Gaming giving Allegiance much of a challenge, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they might take like one or two games from them, possibly, but I think Allegiance could really pull through against Optic Gaming. I think Optic Gaming.
I think Allegiance looked really well, really good at X Games.
Yeah,
they performed really well. They only got beat by, was it Evil Geniuses that beat them in the semifinals?
Yeah, they lost to Evil Genius, and it was a pretty close game, except for the last game, which I think was kind of a blowout. But I think Allegiance just really lost steam in that last game. You know, they were doing really, really well. They gave it their all this whole entire event.
They picked it up and they beat the crap out of Renegades in the fourth and third place match.
Yeah, Renegades really. I also think Renegades kind of lost steam when they lost that match. They just kind of got tired, really. I mean, it was like a lot of these teams really gave it their all this event. I was really impressed with a lot of these teams. I know, EG really tried their hardest when it came to this event. They were really, really determined to win this event because of how, Lethal left EG for CLG.
Yeah.
And EG wanted to show that they could win without Lethal. So this is X Games was definitely a really, really good event for competitive Halo. Really a lot of great moments happened.
Yeah, the finals were great. Didn't they go to the last map too, CLG and Evil Geniuses?
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was a very historical grand finals match. To be honest, I mean there were so many clutch plays. I know Frosty got an overkill on Rig Strongholds, and commonly just played out of his mind. I remember there was this one time Team Slayer on Eden when there was just like so many no scopes coming from like commonly Roy and Royal 2. There was just there were like no scopes everywhere. Everybody was just sniping out of their minds. It was crazy. Like that was definitely a great match to see.
All right, so Team Allegiance and Optic, you think are going to make it out of this pool possibly? What about Triggers Pound? So they're a team that were put together by players from a couple of other big teams. How come you don't think that they're going to be a threat?
Because they were one of the more last-second teams coming into the roster lock. It was a combination of Assault, Hysteria. Let me see right now. The Noxide and somebody else. Let me check. Hysteria, Assault, the Noxide, and Cloud. And I mean, Assault looked pretty good when he was on Optic Halo. The Noxide definitely looked really good when he was on Velocity. Hysteria, I don't think he's really playing that great in this game, and Cloud's doing okay. But I just really don't think that they could take on Allegiance because they have to play Allegiance the first game, and I really don't see them taking down Allegiance. To be honest, Allegiance has just played for so long together. They have so much chemistry, and they're just so talented that I don't think Triggers Pound has enough chemistry or talent to really take down Allegiance. So I don't see them winning that one at all. So I really think it's going to be Allegiance versus Optic Gaming in Group A.
All right, Group B, let's move on. We got Counter Logic Gaming, which a lot of people would say top two team between them and Evil Geniuses. They lost in the finals at X Games, but it was a Game 7. They got Lethal from Evil Geniuses, so they were kind of a new roster and technically with the four of them. They're going up against Noble eSports, Elevate, and Overdrive, and I'm not really sure personally who I would say is number 2 on this list, but clearly CLG is the best team in Group B.
They definitely are. I think, in my opinion, they're probably the best team in this group right now. They're going to have to go up against Elevate in the first game, which I know Elevate's really put up a fight against a lot of the top teams, but I really don't think Elevate could take on this EG team. To be honest, I think if Elevate were to take on them, all four of these players, especially Straight Sick, considering he's going to be the main player for this team, all four of these players are going to really have to play out of their minds to take on CLG. And I really don't think they have enough slaying power to really just compete against CLG. I think CLG is going to be able to take them out of ease. To be honest, I really don't see Elevate taking on them too much. Yeah, after that, who are we going to have after that? Noble Esports going up against Overdrive. That's actually going to be a really, really good match because I feel like these are two teams that match up very evenly.
Yeah. Well, just
Noble,
let me stop you real quick. So these group stages, all of the teams are going to play each other. It's like a round robin. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're all going to play each other, but you're talking about the first matchup. So the first matchup.
Yeah, first match.
The first one of the tournament is actually CLG versus Elevate. Let me see if I can get. I'm gonna get this scheduled up in a second. Yeah, you can go ahead. But yeah, I'm gonna get that scheduled up. But it's a round robin, so all these teams are gonna play each other. Just so you know, I don't know if that influences your predictions at all or not.
Yeah, it does. I just know that I'm judging it by like the first game, who's gonna play who, in the first match of the groups.
Okay.
Because I know in Group A, Allegiance is gonna play Triggerscon first game. Dream Team's gonna play off the game in first game, and then Group B, CLG is gonna take on Elevate first game.
Yeah.
And it's basically like the number one team goes up against the third team, then number one goes up against the third team, and it's like it goes like that for like all groups. So I'm just looking at those both teams and just determining which one's gonna win in that series.
All right, so I've got the schedule up on the screen now. All right, so first, yeah, you're right. The first games really do set the the momentum for the teams. The team that's going to get a win off the bat, they're going to be feeling good going into the next game. So it's going to start off with Group B, CLG versus Elevate, and then it's going to move on to Noble Esports versus Overdrive. So Overdrive, they were a team that did pretty well, I think, in the last couple online qualifiers. Is that right?
Yeah, they did pretty well. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they kind of they're like staying outside of the top 8 spot. Yeah, for the online qualifiers, for the third online qualifier, they placed 9. Fourth online qualifier, they placed 9. Fifth online qualifier, they placed 5th, and they qualified for regionals as 7th seed. So yeah, they've just been dangling really outside of the top 8 spot, like 9th place for a while.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of like the same thing with Overdrive. Although I think Overdrive broke into top 8. Let me just see right now. Oh, they came as the 15th seed actually.
15th.
So
they were second to last.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I feel like both of these teams will match up pretty evenly, though. I feel like there's enough talent on both of these teams to really put up a good show. I think in the end of the day, though, I don't know if Overdrive has enough experience to take on Noble Esports. Although all 4 of the players in each team are relatively young, I think Overdrive has enough experience to really take down I think Noble has enough experience to take down Overdrive. You have Penguin, who's actually a really, really good player, he competed last season. Calm Mentality, who's one of the more experienced players on this team. Swift Kill, who's also one of the more experienced players on this team. And Rain, who is a new player, but has shown a lot of promising signs in the past. So I really think it's going to be the experience that really just allows Noble to take down Overdrive in this series. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very close series, though. Pretty sure it's going to be like a best of 3 or something like that. If it's a best of 3, I definitely see like Noble taking them like 2-1. But it's going to be very close games.
I don't know. I forget what the schedule is, but I'm kind of thinking. Did it say on there right there? No, it doesn't say what the series are. I'm kind of thinking it's gonna be best of 5s.
Best of 5s?
I'm not completely certain though, so don't quote me on that. But best of 3s sound kind of short. Typically, MLG's been running best of 5s, at least for Call of Duty, in these invitationals. In open bracket tournaments are typically best of 3s just because of time constraints, but this event,
best of 5.
I could see best of 5 going down. Yeah, that seems more fair in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We're talking about the North American Halo Regionals taking place this weekend. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to be going to the event. I know somebody in the chat Um, Mending Mercy also said he's going to be at the event. Can't wait to meet you there, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. It's going to be my first Halo event. Um, it's a very, very exciting one. I know everybody from MLG is excited. This is the biggest event. Well, X Games is pretty big. There's more teams out of this one, and the stakes are higher because 8 teams are going to the World Championship. The prize pool is already over $2 million. One of the largest prize pools, probably the largest prize pool in console esports ever. So that's pretty exciting. Definitely a good time. We're talking about predictions right now. Our social media is down below. Zach here is one of our Halo writers at eSports Guru. Puts out a lot of great content covering Halo, keeping you guys in the know. We also cover Call of Duty, League of Legends, Hearthstone, a couple other esports. We do these talk shows typically weekly. Let's get on with this one though. So predictions. Let's move on to Group 3. Sorry, not Group 3. Group C. Group C, we got the Juggernauts on top. This was a good group, I think, because some of these teams, at least, this, I don't know, this, in my opinion, looks like the most competitive group.
Yeah, probably.
So, Evil Geniuses on top. We got Team Envious in here, Denial Esports, and Winter Fox.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a very interesting pool to see actually competing. So let's talk about EG going up against Denial. Right off the bat, I'm really confident that EG is going to take this series, but I think that Denial could put up at least a decent fight going up against EG. The only problem with this Denial team, though, is that everybody on this team is just like Overdrive is relatively young. You have Contra, who I'm pretty sure he's probably the most experienced person on this team, but even he's considered a very, very young player. He just became pro last season. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team works out. You have Pro Devonator, who's another up and coming player. Boo Boo Dubu, who's always been like a really, really solid player, but never managed to break into like the top 8 spot to be considered pro in this league. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does too. And you have Hugh, who you probably know him. He was a former Call of Duty pro player.
Yeah.
Who actually, ironically, played for the Denial Esports COD team before he decided to leave to pursue Halo pro career. So this is going to be kind of crazy to see him play on the same organization again. He's also a really solid player. I was actually really surprised to see how good he played. He's one of the first few COD players to make the transition to Halo. Yep. There's not really a lot of COD players who really decide to make the switch. I know there's a lot of Halo players who decided to. Yeah. But unfortunately, due to the COD World League age limit, Hugh wasn't allowed to compete in the COD World League.
Yeah, he's like 3 years too young.
Yeah, something like that. It kind of sucks because he was a really good COD player.
Yeah.
But he had. What were you saying?
Yeah, but I mean, he already made it to the regionals for Halo, so I mean, he's got a shot at a big prize pool here too. So.
Yeah. He definitely has. He's been a very, very promising player ever since he started competing in Halo. He started a couple of months ago, actually. Yeah. I actually played against him. I matched up against him in Big Team Battle, and I kind of talked a little bit of trash to him because I was in the game chat with him. It was actually pretty funny playing with him. He's definitely a cool kid, though. He's really nice. But yeah, so you got this Denial team, very, very talented. You know, they definitely are a promising team. But the problem is they have to go up against arguably the best team right now in this regionals qualifier, in this regionals match right now.
Yep.
So I don't know if Denial could really take on EG. I think EG is just way too talented and way too experienced to lose to a pretty young Denial team. But I do think Denial still is a pretty solid team, but I just don't think they have a chance in taking on EG.
All right, what about Denial versus Team Envious or Denial versus Winter Fox?
With Denial going up against Envious, that'd actually be a better series to watch because Envy is a team that's been struggling, and I think for the most part they've kind of been a bit of a disappointment ever since they started. Right when Envy decided to pick up this team, a lot of people were expecting this team to do really, really, really well. Their original lineup was Miquin, APG, Hines, and Pistola. And this team was just really, really, really talented in the beginning. They looked very promising. And a lot of fans thought that Envy would be probably one of the top 3 teams coming into regionals before any qualifiers occurred. But due to like constant arguing between each players and constant team changes,
Sounds like a
Hines and
Call of Duty
AP,
team.
yeah, kind of. But yeah, so eventually APG and Hines kind of got frustrated with this NV team. They decided to part ways and join Team Liquid. So then they had to go through quite a few more team changes. They picked up Barkenham and they picked up Hysteria for a short period of time. Um, but then they decided to drop Hysteria and pick up Ogre 2, who was also dropped from CLG due to CLG dropping Ogre 2 to pick up Lethal. So, yeah, so now this lineup is consisting of Pistola, Miquin, Ogre 2, and Arcanum. And slang-wise, this team actually looks really good. Arcanum's a very, very solid slayer. Miquin could also be a very solid slayer at times, too. Pistola is just a juggernaut when it comes to slang. He just does crazy stuff for his team. And Ogre 2 is obviously going to be the very experienced leader to kind of lead the team. But to see them go up against a very talented Nile team would actually be pretty cool because I think slang-wise, the Nile could definitely take on Envy when you when any kind of Slayer match or even objective-wise. I think objectively, the Nile is smart enough to really take on this Envy team, unless Pistola just does some crazy stuff and decides to outsmart every single player in the Nile, which could be possible. Pistola's kind of done that in the past. He's known for being one of the smartest players in the league right now. So, and of all time, he's a very, very, very intelligent person whenever it comes to playing Halo.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. We got some people in the chat. Darth Spartan said Evil G for the win. And Uncle Cliff said Pistola is competing. Where has he been? I think he's been competing.
Well, he's been competing. He started competing again last season, but a lot of people don't know that he suffered from a very bad hand injury.
Yeah.
In season 1. Yeah, when he played on EG, it was on some sort of Iron Games event. I forgot which one. I'm pretty sure it was like Daytona or something like that.
It was the one in Columbus.
Oh, it probably.
Yeah, they had an event in Columbus at the beginning of the year last year.
It was probably Iron Game in Columbus. But EG was playing in the grand finals against CLG, I think. Yeah, it was CLG. And they lost. And then Pistola got very angry because he felt like he kind of let the team down. He just banged his hand on the table and just, I think like he like broke his thumb or something like that. So he had to get surgery for that. He was out for a few months. But then after that, he decided to start competing again once he started feeling better. And then Cloud9, which at the time consisted of Hysteria, Victory, and Fear itself, who recently dropped Ninja, they decided to pick up Pistola, and they looked somewhat promising in the beginning. They looked like they could be a solid top 4 team, but they really just didn't click, and they kind of had a hard season in Season 2.
Yep.
So after that, Pistola just decided to leave the team, and he's now on Envy.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the last group. So this one, I don't know. I would say maybe this is the weakest one. At least the top seed doesn't seem like it should be the top seed. Team Liquid, Renegades, Soar Gaming, and Astral Authority. So Astral Authority has a team. Who did they replace? They must have took over an organization that was already present.
Astral Authority was actually an amateurish. Well, let me check. So, Astral Authority was originally Severance, and then the organization Astral Authority decided to just pick up this Severance team because Severance wasn't necessarily an organization; it was just the name of this team, just a random team name that they picked up.
Okay.
But yeah, Astral Authority decided to pick up this team, and it's actually they've been looking pretty good in online qualifiers, to be honest. They definitely have a decent amount of talent. You have Gabriel, who is just overall very, very talented slayer. King Nick, who's been a complete monster online, so it'd be interesting to see how he does in an actual event. And Mr. Blankers, who's also made a couple of good plays for this team in a lot of the online qualifiers. Then you have Hoaxer, who's a longtime Halo pro, who hasn't really done much in his pro career. He never won an event or anything like that, but he's managed to dangle in the top 8 spot throughout his career, which was pretty impressive. So I'm pretty sure he could bring a lot of leadership and a lot of experience to this talented young team. But yeah, this is definitely a very, very promising team coming into this qualifier, but I don't know if they're going to be able to bring it in the top 8, to be honest. I think they're a little bit too young, in my opinion, to really take on the top 8 teams. Yeah. I think they have to go up against Renegades, actually, in their first match, which is going to be pretty interesting to see because I really don't know if Renegade
I was gonna say, did you say like Renegades? That was funny.
Yeah. Uh,
Renegades.
I, yeah, Renegades. I think Renegades has a little bit too much talent and too much experience. They're definitely a more experienced team than
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
So
They
I
seem like a
think,
pretty good, solid team.
yeah, they placed fifth in the X Games, which was pretty impressive for this team. And they were actually able to Ninja was actually able to beat Team Liquid, which was pretty interesting because he had a little bit of bad blood against Ace and the whole entire Team Liquid team because he was dropped by them this season. But so yeah, Renegades I think is just overall has a little bit more talent and a lot more experience than this Austral team. So I think they're going to be able to beat them. I'm pretty sure Austral will put up a good fight against them in the series. I think they could at least maybe win one or two games against Renegades, but I don't see them taking the whole entire series. And then as for Team Liquid's kind of been the same as Envy. In the beginning of the season, Team Liquid looked to be pretty promising. It originally consisted of Mikwin, Ninja, Unlegit, and Ace. So yeah, so this team looked really good. A lot of people thought that this team would do great in the season, but Mikwin decided to leave for Envy. Ninja got dropped, and there was just all these team changes that kind of just ruined this team, in my opinion, and made them a lot weaker and a lot more vulnerable this season. So what was supposed to be a pretty promising, very talented slaying team kind of is in like kind of outside of the top eight, like in the near end of the top eight spot, in my opinion. So I don't know if Team Liquid could really take on any of these teams right now. When I see them going up against Soar Gaming, I don't know if really they could beat Soar Gaming. To be honest, Soar Gaming actually is a higher seeded team or a higher seeded team than Liquid, but I think Soar Gaming actually has a lot of talent on this team. I know Hunter, JJX, and Juicy Fruit actually have been doing really, really good in the online qualifiers. Same as for Winter. And then Sneaky Beaver is actually a long-time competitor. He's not. He hasn't been pro for a while, but he's been competing for quite a while. He's been competing ever since Halo 3. So he definitely has a lot of experience under his belt. Maybe not pro experience, but he definitely has been competing for quite some time, which is something that could really help the Soar Gaming team. Talent-wise, I definitely think that they're more talented than this Team Liquid team. I don't know. I don't really know yet, though, if they could really beat Team Liquid. I definitely believe it's going to be a very, very close series that they do play, but I kind of see Sword Gaming coming out on top of this one, to be honest. I really don't know if Liquid could take on Sword Gaming, but it'll definitely be a very interesting series to watch. I really don't know who's going to win that one.
All right. So let's go back through the groups real quick and just reiterate top two. So two teams are going to move on from each group.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and those two teams are going to end up in the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
According to the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterfinals are going to pit the first place team from one group against the second place team from the other group. Okay. Yeah. So, teams that are making it out of the groups, I'm pretty sure since 8 teams out of the 16 are going to be going to the World Championship, the top 2 teams from each group are going to the World Championship. And I don't know really the prize pool for these regionals, but there must be a prize pool if they're going to finish off the tournament with quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. There must be some sort of prize pool.
Yeah, but let's go. Oh, 500,000 or 50,000.
50,000? Okay, nice. Not bad to play for. Okay, so let's go back through real quick and say the top 2 teams from each group. Group A, we got Team Allegiance, Dream Team, Triggers Pound, and Optic Gaming. Who's your number 1 seed coming out?
I say it's going to be Allegiance and Optic Gaming who are going to be coming out on top of this group.
And probably Allegiance in the first place spot.
Yeah.
Maybe Optic in the second place spot.
Yeah. For Group B, I definitely see CLG coming out in the first place spot. And then as for the other teams, I would have to probably say possibly Noble. Yeah, Noble probably come out in second place in this group.
All right.
So yeah, that's for that. Group C, definitely see CLG coming out on top first place. And then for second place, I could see probably...
you mean Group C, Evil Geniuses coming out on top?
Yeah, Group C, EG coming out on top. And then for second, I'd probably, I don't know, maybe possibly Winter Fox if they do really, really well. I think Winter Fox definitely has some talent.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. That'll be interesting to see who comes out in second. If it's not Winter Fox, probably Envy. To be honest, I don't know if Denial's going to be doing much in this group right now. To be
Yeah.
honest. And then
What about Group D? Got
Group
Liquid,
D,
Renegades, Soul Gaming, and Astral Authority.
I see Renegades coming out on top in Group D, and then for second, I would probably say, I think the safe option is probably going to be Team Liquid. To be honest, I think in an event, since Sword Gaming and also Authority, none of these players really competed in events as much as the players on Team Liquid. Team Liquid, I think, might narrowly come out on second place, but they definitely will come out in second place without a fight. Definitely, it'll be a very close series for them.
All right. Cool. So we got our predictions underway. The event begins tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Once again, kicks off with CLG versus Elevate, Noble Esports Overdrive. Not a lot of big games tomorrow. Like not the best matchups. I think the best matchups seem to be saved for the second day, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. That's when we'll definitely start seeing some pretty close games going on. Although I'll definitely be looking at Opti Gaming going up against Dream Team because I think they play tomorrow. I'm pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I know Opti Gaming is definitely playing tomorrow, so I would definitely want to see who they play and if they come out on top because Opti Gaming's back. Their backs are against the wall. They're in they're a 16th seeded team, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they do in this regionals. It actually be. I don't know if Opti Gaming is going to win this one. I kind of doubt it that they'd win the whole entire regionals, to be honest. But if Opti
yeah, I feel like
Gaming,
that was not possible. I don't know.
yeah, probably. I don't think they're going to be able to beat like AG or CLG or those teams. I think they're a little bit. They don't have enough talent to really take on those teams.
Yeah.
But if Opti Gaming does somehow like win this whole entire event, I really don't know what's going to happen, man. It's possible, but it'd actually be pretty crazy if something like that would happen.
That would be a couple of big upsets in a row.
Yeah, a lot of big upsets that will happen for them to win.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're going to have a lot of fans.
Yeah,
tuning in, hoping for that to happen.
Will be going crazy.
I'm excited to be there tomorrow for sure, though. I'm gonna try to take a lot of pictures. And there's 2 stages. I'm assuming there might be 2 streams as well. But if there's not 2 streams, I'm gonna be periscoping them or I'm gonna be live tweeting them, and it's gonna be good for eSports Guru tomorrow. I think I'm gonna get a bunch of pictures. I'm gonna try to talk to some pros, ask them a couple questions. So if you have any specific questions that you want me to ask pros tomorrow at the event, go ahead and put it in the chat, send it to our Twitter account, or Zach, you can go ahead and tell me whatever you want. But we're definitely gonna be trying to put out a lot of content tomorrow and the entire weekend because I live here in Columbus. I'm going to the event. I got no other plans this weekend. Definitely excited to watch some top level Halo. That would be like these guys are playing for something big right now, and it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be the biggest event Halo has ever had, HWC. So this is gonna be very, very interesting. This regionals.
Definitely. All right, so those of you that came out into the chat to watch us in our Halo predictions show, it's actually our first Halo show, and hopefully we're gonna have a couple more in the future. We got Zach on here with us today. If you want to come on the show sometime, hit us up. Let me know ahead of time. We can figure it out. We'd love to have guests on the show. We can take in some phone calls every once in a while. I think we can try to do that. Definitely appreciate you watching. Give us a follow if this is the first time to the stream. Hit us up next time. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time.